test shows that he's in the reading vocabulary part, but there are clearly mostly math problems on the page. Also, question 29 says that Jeremy has 8 hats, and his friend has twice as many. So how many does his friend have? And the answer of 16 doesn't show up anywhere.
This is the test he turned in last week.
But he waited until he took another test to call his parents? Clearly this kid spent way too much time playing Mario Kart's Rainbow Road Track on the Nintendo GameCube.
Speed Racer, slow down!
Jesus Christ, his name is Speed Racer? What do you think he's gonna be obsessed with then? If I named my kid Satan Worshipper, would I be surprised if he turned out to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? I guess the movie is saying that Speed sees the world in Sonic the Hedgehog, but goddamn, is this gonna be tough to get through for 78 minutes? 135 minutes? Holy f***.
Come on, please, Rex. Please, 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 please.
You've truly got to admire a film committed to being this annoying. It's like the Wachowskis watched 100 hours of SpongeBob SquarePants and said, yes, that, but for over 2 hours and based on the 1960s cartoon Speed Racer. Long and tedious, Hokio drift. Is Rex really driving his little brother around at this kind of speed without anyone wearing helmets? I'm sure that in whatever year this is, they've made great advancements in safety, but I can't imagine they've gotten to not needing a helmet safe.
Close your eyes and listen.
This is a terrible driving lesson, especially for a grade schooler. First thing you need to know about driving is to keep your goddamn eyes open. I didn't think there would be a more boring event to attend live than NASCAR, but this takes the taco. Even the fans in the good seats can't see. I've never seen an editing job that made me want to narf harder all over myself. Thank God I didn't watch this f***ing thing in an IMAX theater. Okay, so now we're in a different race, and Rex is racing now? Or is it the younger version of Speed? I didn't expect that I had to watch this sucker more times than Tenet to figure out what's going on.
Jeepers, he could do it, Pops.
I like how the Racer family decided to have 3 kids, like 12 years apart per each kid. Sudden Wednesday Addams. Also, this movie is like we're switching back and forth between the current race on some major network, a classic race on ESPN5, and an episode of Modern Family.
Hey, Pops, the guy told me to give this to you. Says he was a big fan.
Turns out it's a bomb that's timed perfectly for a kid to bring it back to his house and give to his dad just as it's about to blow up. Bombers. They think so fourth-dimensionally. Rex hears a bomb in the package, and instead of immediately running outside and throwing it far away, he decides to go with this stupid method. Not only could this bomb have blown up while he did this, but it also could have killed other people.
You walk out that door now, you better not ever come back.
It's amazing how the weather knows what's up whenever there's turmoil. Like, at the Brady house, there's complete sunshine, and they're just 3 houses down. Why does the image on this TV look like Sega CD graphics? It's like we're playing Night Trap, only somehow having less fun. Symbolic deceleration. Review mirror-shaped TVs. The f***. Also, the movie has time for this.
Got it!
Can someone please explain when we are? It's obviously in the future, since there are bonkers racetracks and super technology that easily beats even what we have in 2021. But then there's nostalgic bullshit like this rotary phone that makes everything anachronistic. F*** it. I'm adding 5 extra sins for my frustration.
Have you seen the papers this morning? They're all in love with you.
Trixie just saw Speed wake up and come out of the bedroom, but still asks if he's read the papers that morning.
Sinestro Foods, a subdivision of Royalton Industries.
Sinestro, huh? Like Sinestro, but pronounced the same? As in their motives are sinister? Look, they're a food company. We know they're evil. You don't have to spell it out. Segways!
Oops. Sorry. Trade secret.
How did he control that shield from the cart? Does he have a remote that creates privacy for random labs as he drives around? Or is it built in this cart's dashboard? Royalton Industries makes their drivers play virtual reality Animal Crossing.
When someone gets that kind of money, they start thinking that the rules everybody else plays by don't mean squat to them.
He then goes on to say that his sons are extremely important to him, and if Speed thinks he can arrange a deal, he's down, despite all the evil he detects inside this building. How the did this guy acquire a tank full of cartoon piranha? Do you know how hard it is to get those? They take a lot of time and resources to maintain an anime. Deus Ex Alarmina! Movie steals the real-life video game scene from Superman 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but how did Racer X know to do that? When this movie goes from animated to live action back to animated again, it's the most disorienting thing since Michael Douglas went into that virtual reality file system looking for incriminating evidence and disclosure.
And since when did winning become so important?
It's required by law for a character to mention that winning isn't important in any kind of sports movie, but here it seems super egregious. Plus, we don't know anything about this character other than he's wanted to race since he was a kid, so I'm guessing winning is a big deal.
Oh, God! I'm gonna hurl!
There's no way this asshole Spritle sat in the trunk with a monkey and managed to stay quiet all this time.
Especially Pops. He didn't set foot in his shop for over a year.
Expositional green screening.
I think we got mice again.
You think you might have mice again? Again? How does a private jet that is this immaculate when Spritle isn't shit up have mice ever?
But as Ben Burns sat guzzling cold fresh milk in Victory Lane,
Drinking milk after winning is such an Indianapolis 500 thing, and it wasn't a tradition until the 50s, that this casual reference to guzzling cold fresh milk after a 1943 race has an empty ring to it.
Cirrus Aeronautics saw almost a 12-point gain, which immediately blocked Peninsula Power Cell from being able to afford the price of a complete takeover.
This monologue is for all those people who thought that the architect's speech in Matrix Reloaded was too banal, vapid, and pedestrian.
All that matters is power and the unassailable might of money.
This is getting intense. Time to see what Spritle's up to. Oh, I'm extremely sorry I asked. This is what it's like when you take acid and you've been called in for an emergency babysitting session. The right thing to do is say no, but you're only $500 away from saving Aunt Rudy's farm. And the Messersmiths are known to stay out late. You could get extra pay. It's at this point where the coked-out younger brother and his chimp companion are racing around this super secure facility with impunity while the guitar solo from Leonard Skinner's Freebird is playing. And now do you remember how dumb this movie is?
Burns knew he was going to win.
This whole racing is rigged so that corporations can make money plot seems like something you'd tell a racer after he's signed the contract, not after he's turned it down. Spritle manages to see some illegal shit involving a spear hook during his candy bender, and unsurprisingly will factor into the plot later. And my main question is, why is this shit visible to anyone, for any reason? Now the security guard shows up after Spritle basically just had a reign of terror in the hallways and killed several Segway riders.
Listen to me and listen good, kid, because I'm going to give you one more history lesson.
Awesome! I thought it was a little too early for the whole villain exposits his entire evil plan to the protagonist bull. I guess since we're here, make sure to get it all out, Movie makes a joke about objects on screen being closer than they appear, and we see Racer X's face so close to the screen that he's practically licking it. But when the movie cuts to the next shot, Racer X isn't nearly that close, much less closer than he appeared. We see a car crash violently into a mountain, and one of those protective balls with the driver pops out instantaneously. When we saw this earlier, it took a little more time to get that bubble wrap around the guy before he crashed. So at what point does the bubble wrap know to start wrapping? So is this sort of race combat acceptable in this league? Do they even use the yellow or green flags? Especially in catastrophic situations like this?
Soon after that, there'll be litigation.
For a minute there, I thought this movie was pulling a Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 on us, and none of that actually happened. But it did. They flash-forwarded so hard they ended up flashing back.
He tried to take you to the park and you never wanted to get out of the car.
What started out as a formidable and passionate fascination with racing has now revealed itself to be a pretty gruesome obsession. Look, I want Speed to succeed too, but he couldn't even go to the park when he was a kid.
Why does he always wear that mask?
If any of you actually knew his identity, you'd become targets for his enemies.
If you're going to be the Basil exposition in this scene, why does Racer X even need to be here? The only thing he says in this scene is Casa Cristo, the name of the cross-country race that Speed's brother most definitely didn't die in because he's Racer X.
You're gonna need an alibi. We'll say we're going skiing.
I guess the alibi lets you drive away without a confrontation, but how do you keep it a secret that you're in the race?
That's right, Colton. There were a number of fatalities several years ago.
In all the races we've seen, if anyone crashes, their cars immediately fill up with some sort of bubble wrap to eject the driver to safety. So what's so goddamn special about the Casa Cristo that makes it more fatal?
The moment the Queen sees the sun, she'll signal the start.
Wait, the whole sun, or just the tip? How do you even determine that for sure? I mean, it's already looking pretty bright out here, and you're gonna end up staring into the sun.
I got Racer.
This colorful race through the palace at the beginning of Casa Cristo is supposed to be cool, but it is excessive pixelation to the point that the animators get hairy palms and the viewers go blind.
Let's pinch these turds off!
Poop talks. I know the movie wants to keep flashing back during races so it doesn't stop to give you exposition, but honestly, does it even make a difference that these headhunters were hired to take racers out? We already know the race is dirty and people have weapons installed in their cars. What does it matter if people outside the race come in and add more danger? If these were actual competitors, I wouldn't even know the difference. The point is, I want to see a goddamn race, not a bunch of interrupting flashbacks. Does the fact that this guy can pay these people in furs suggest an excess of headhunters you can hire, or does it suggest a shortage? Discuss amongst yourselves. How the f***ing hell does Trixie know how to skillfully pilot a helicopter? Has this movie shown anything that would point to this ability? I mean, how can the drivers even see what's going on down near their tires to use these weapons?
It's tough to see what goes on in those dust clouds.
Plus, the CGI is So you have this awesome catapult attached to your car, and the weapon you decide to put inside it is a f***ing beehive? You couldn't put a bomb in there? In fact, why don't these guys have, like, shotguns? Are they worried that'll be too suspicious? How the f*** does this guy keep up with Racer X when he's got these spiky balls on chains dragging behind him?
Let's go.
Spritle doesn't wait to see his dad pulling out of the driveway before watching this race. He goes straight to the couch. The only reason he'd be this dumb is so he can turn on the TV and Pops can find out that Speed's in the Casa Cristo race. Whoa, it's dark again? Did this leg of the race last the entire day? Looks like it's only been a couple hours at the racer house. Hell, the snacks the two kids got out at the beginning of this are still out and still look fresh.
If we drive tomorrow, like we drove today, we will lose!
Excuse me, but in what way did these guys drive that was so unacceptable? They were instantly attacked by 5 headhunters. This would be like the coach of the Cleveland Cats yelling at the guys that Billy Cole shot in The Last Boy Scout. We practiced this, guys!
Do you really think Rex could put everyone through all that?
No, but the movie will point us in that direction for far too long and way too late in the runtime to consider any alternatives, and then pull a last-minute whoop-de-whoop at the end involving plastic surgery tomfoolery.
I'm staying.
So am I.
Okay, but where are Trixie's parents? Are they not worried that their daughter is shacked up with her teenage boyfriend and she's flying a spotting helicopter over what's likely the most dangerous race in the world?
If you want to fire me as your driver, then fine, do it. But it won't change the fact that I am going to finish this race.
Because you didn't know I had a secret second car, did you, Dad?
If they're staying, we're staying.
And that's all the discussion they have about that.
You wouldn't lie to your mother, would you?
Never again.
What a f***ing liar. The Bruce Almighty Moon probably explains why their world looks like Pit Fighter Super Mario Galaxy and the Detective Pikachu. This guy's bedroom has a convenient decoration apparently built for the express purpose of ninjas poisoning people in their sleep. We interrupt this racing movie to bring you a random-ass kung fu fight. Sure, it's kind of awesome. It is the Wachowskis after all, but it is also a f***ing speed racer movie. Jesus Christ, what a f***ing bunch of bull***. This is the only way the screenwriters could come up with to alert the family to the ninja problem? Huh, I guess Speed learned how to kick ninja ass at the same imaginary place that Trixie learned to pilot a helicopter. Wait, so Ma, Pops, and Trixie all heard the crazy commotion in the hotel room, but the trained agents that are there to protect Speed didn't hear or do
This is my race!
Cobra Pulp.
If you're here,
That's better. Couldn't see a thing.
How has she been driving at high speeds for this many miles without being able to see anything? Also, she's an expert race car driver too? Why the hell do we even need Speed Racer in this movie? Show me an entire Trixie kicks ass at all the things story and I'm sold.
You're the ones who always saying I'm a better driver than most of the WRL.
None of this dizzying back and forth argument makes any difference whatsoever, and Trixie won't even be driving once they go into the mountains, so why spend so much time on it?
Now the gloves are off and they're pounding one another bumper to bumper, rail to rail.
Is this announcer watching the race or Requiem for a Dream? Look, the entire maneuver is horse bathing in bullshit, but mainly I want to know how Speed figured all this out when none of his racing career has required moves like this before, and his car has equipment installed that he's used for just one day. So how does the car know how high to jump when all he does is press one button for that?
That's my boy!
Man, Pops changed his mind really fast on this race being too dangerous and being a tragic reminder of his son's death.
You sure? No cameras here?
I checked it this morning.
Eat me. Are you telling me that the colossal cross-country race that draws all this incredible interest doesn't have helicopter coverage? There are numerous scouts in helicopters. Why wouldn't the channel running the race have them? Also, I checked it this morning. How do you cover miles of mountain track and find every camera? And that's another big failing of the channel running this. You'd want cameras everywhere, right? How'd these guys know their boss would be here? If all this back on the TogaCon helicopter was such a huge surprise, then how would his goons know where to find him later?
What is this?
this is called a change of plan.
Considering this isn't the last super important race of the movie, we sure are spending a lot of time on this f***ing race. These assholes were in the trunk when Speed did this maneuver and several other moves that would break all the necks. Also, don't they add weight to the car? Don't they make it harder for Speed to win this race? How do they get past security? And Spritle and Chim Chim have now done this so much that the parents from Home Alone look amazing. The good guy assholes are going to win this fight, mainly because the bad guys are so stupefied by Spritle that they forgot to use their guns. Since this movie wants a PG rating, they forgot that they can end this quickly.
Spritle!
First off, he just saved your ass. Second off, Spritle being in the trunk is 100,000,000,000% on you. And the curiously absent Susan Sarandon.
First out of the pass is the Hydrocell team.
Which isn't super surprising. What is surprising is that they're only this far ahead of the TogaCon team at this point. How far back were those Hydrocell assholes that the other team could stop, get in a huge fight for several minutes, and then be behind only a quarter of a mile? You know, some say we give a lot of shit to the car stunts in the Fast and Furious movies. Well, maybe Pops can see a gun with his binoculars. How the f*** does everybody else? Also, taking a gun to a race fight. Given the nature of this race, why not always have the bulletproof bubble windshield in effect? So wait, this cross-country race that spans 2 continents, 3 climate changes, and 5,000 kilometers has only 2 legs? The f***ing race is over? You do realize that 5,000 kilometers is longer than the entire United States, right? What a f***ing rip-off this race is. Racer X shows that he's actually Matthew Fox and not Scott Porter anymore, continuing the lie that he's not Rex. We're gonna find out that this is plastic surgery, but how is plastic surgery this f***ing good? And if he was going to wear a mask to hide his identity, why bother with the plastic surgery in the first place? Just wear a mask with better face coverage.
It doesn't matter if racing never changes. What matters is if we let racing change us.
This is one of those sayings where you flip the subject around, the verb, and it sounds super wise, but it's really not. How can you have any fun if there are a bunch of dicks in charge of rigging the races? You can keep your integrity, but you're also going to run into cheating, near-death experiences, and frivolous lawsuits.
Can we come with you?
Sure, now he asks for permission. Why not stow away like you always do? Nobody f***ing cares.
They've known the winner of every Grand Prix for the past 50 years. It's always fixed.
It's almost worse than the NBA.
My security man believes I'm still at the opera.
Jesus, how far away is the opera from the racer house? I think you'll be gone long enough for them to worry at this point.
We don't have a car.
What? Pops just made me go back through this movie to figure out what he means, and I'm stumped and angry. Back at the Fuji race, Speed crashed his car beyond repair. But 6 minutes later in the movie, he already had a car to make out with Christina Ricci in. I assumed it was a newly built car, or a second car. Then they modified that one for the Casa Cristo race, and Speed finished the race in that car, drove off in a huff in that car, and ran a rage-filled practice lap in that car. Even if you're saying this dust-up with Racer X caused a problem with the existing car, it's easier to fix that than make an entirely new car, right?
Sparky!
Wait, Sparky lives here too? Does anyone else in this neighborhood have a family of their own?
I would say good luck Saturday, but you don't need it. You're already very lucky to have such a family.
Aw, that's so sweet. Oh yeah, finally some hot, sexy contract signing action. I wish they'd do it a little slower next time though. Allowing monkeys to do anything with your world-class race car. This really makes me appreciate the Racer family. They eat PB&J. I relate to them more, unlike these pieces of inhuman garbage who eat salad. Nobody worth rooting for eats f***ing salad.
The presence of Speed Racer has completely changed the equation.
But why? As far as these announcers know, Speed is just a decent racer from a lower circuit. He wrecked out of the last official race, and only won the rally when he worked with a team. The only reason Speed's presence is important to the booth guys is because the movie needs it to be important. Also, the main evil bastard offered $1 million to take Speed out before he left the locker room, and you're telling me no one took him up on that? Not even an attempt to rough him up? At this point, the movie's like, F*** the plastic bubbles, that guy's dead. Does screaming make a car go faster? Because Speed blew past this car a second ago and had built a decent lead. These cars are powered by the same shit Monsters Inc. uses to power Monstropolis.
Just listen, Speed. Just listen to her.
Or come up with a solution based on your car's capabilities and functions. That works too.
Look at the split! He's shattering the lap record!
Seems like if this car had that kind of gear, he could have used this earlier.
With a quarter lap to go, Speed Racer is back!
How short is this race? Can't have been over 20, 25 laps total. And this is for the big prize, right? Aren't these races supposed to last for hours? This thing doesn't even take enough time for the patrons to get drunk. Thankfully for Speed and his chances of winning, the Molly didn't truly kick in until after the race was done. Haha, this asshole went through all that bullshit and risked it all to watch his own funeral. What a dick. Rex totally face-offed himself just so he could save the sport of racing. That may be the most f***ed up part of this movie.
Warning. The following image may be unsuitable for the uninoculated or cootie-sensitive viewers.
You're so anti-kiss that when Speed and Trixie are done kissing, you totally forget about that and stick your tongue out like you enjoyed watching that shit.
You know, I'm not so unhappy in here as all of you think.
Do you want to know how CinemaSins started? Or do you want to see pictures of me, Jeremy, the voice of the narrator, as a kid? What about stories of me growing up as a preacher's kid who wasn't allowed to watch movies? What about me telling wild stories from my days as a movie theater manager? What about actionable advice for aspiring YouTubers? Guys, I think you better buy this book.
Give him a minute, son. Dewey Cox needs to think about his entire life before he plays.
Trust your feelings.
You're selling out.
I didn't sell out, son. I bought in. You can't tell me what to do.
I don't want your life.
Yeah, but Speed doesn't want to drive for you or any other sponsors.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
singing. Which direction we are going.
No, not the beast! Not the beast!
Show me what you got, nihilist.
Ronnie, you're hurt, man. Windpipe's busted, man.
If you know so much, why don't you tell me why I should keep driving?
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!